What's up, my fellow Michiganians, Michiganders, whatever you happen to call yourselves? I'm not looking too good, not feeling too good, not sounding too good. I tested positive for COVID a couple days ago, so I've just been chilling at home the past few days. But it has given me some time to reflect on the Detroit Lions and the state of this organization. So I know I've been pretty negative on Facebook lately, and one thing that I picked up is whenever I say something positive, it's, oh, you're so fun to listen to, oh, you're so level-headed, so graceful. But then all of a sudden, once I say anything negative about this team, it's, oh, you're over-emotional, you're overreacting, you're not a real fan. And the last one drives me absolutely insane. Guys, I'm negative because I love this team. I want to see this team win a championship. And to see them completely P-word away an opportunity to win a championship, it ticks me off. It ticks me off for you, the fan base, and the city of Detroit. There is no city in the NFL right now that deserves a championship more than Detroit. We've shown unbelievable loyalty for such bad and mediocre teams. And don't feel bad for these players. These guys make millions of dollars off of us hoping and wishing every single year, only for it to result in nothing. Nobody has accomplished anything here in Detroit yet. But I'll tell you, we had a great opportunity this offseason, and I can say we've already blown it. And before I get, oh, there's no way you can say that. It's only week 2 of the regular season. Well, actually, you can. And let me explain. So, we came into this offseason with a very glaring weakness. I mean, our defense was ranked, what, last in the NFL or 31st? So we knew that was obviously a big weakness. And I know we signed some cornerbacks, which is good. But one of the glaring issues was the fact that our interior defensive line couldn't generate any pass rush. We've known this for years. So what do we decide to do about that weakness? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Let's sign Isaiah Buggs to a $6 million deal to not play a snap. Let's draft a bunch of defensive tackles in the 2nd and 3rd round with injury history. Oh, a guy that's supposed to be taken in the 6th round, let's take Broderick Martin. Oh my gosh, our defensive tackles, they can't generate any pressure. What a shocker. And to don't understand how sad this is. Since Brad Holmes has been a GM for the past 3 years, our leading TFL interior defensive lineman is Aleem McNeil. And he has 9.5 tackles for loss in his career. And I can name about 60 or 70 guys that have more than that in one season as a defensive tackle. Maybe not that many, but still, you get the point. The fact is, our defensive interior doesn't generate any pass rush at all. Whether they're one-on-one, double-teamed, it doesn't matter. And, you know, when you don't do anything to address it in free agency, and when you have 2 guys in the draft that are generational talents, one in particular, I think you guys all know who I'm talking about, a defensive tackle, but instead you decide to draft DeAndre Swift's replacement instead and trade back. I'm sorry, it's hard for me to forgive. The fact is you missed on a very obvious move. I don't want to hear, oh, there's character concerns. Well, guess what? A lot of these teams didn't need a defensive tackle as much as we did. I'm sure Philadelphia is very happy right now. That's one thing I like about Howie Roseman. He doesn't mess around. He takes the best guys off the board, doesn't fool around, and him trading up to get Jalen Carter was a steal. The guy made an absolutely atrocious mistake, and it's clear that it had an effect on him, whether we want to admit it or not. But it's also clear this guy's a beast at football. And I think he would be the best player on this defense right now if he joined the Detroit Lions today. So the point is, if you didn't want to take him, fine. You take Cansey out of Pittsburgh. I was going to say, we passed on another defensive tackle from Pittsburgh 7 years ago, and look what that did for the organization. That's why it feels like SOL. You know we have a clear position of need, and we have generational talents at that spot in the draft that we have a chance to get. But instead we decide to draft replacements. Let's draft DeAndre Swift's replacement. You know, let's draft... the Sam Laporta pick was a good one. I think that was a good pick. I think the 2nd round trade with Minnesota was good. But the point still stands. You did not address the glaring weakness of this defense. And it's even harder for me to justify when Gibbs has 17 yards on 7 carries and Jack Campbell isn't seeing any of the snaps. Like, dude, these guys need to be immediate impact players. I can say this. The two guys I wanted, Carter and Gonzalez, they'd be immediate impact players on this defense. Maybe we thought, we signed all these free agent cornerbacks. We're good there. Well, the way Jerry Jacobs got burnt, maybe we could have used an extra corner. I don't know. But the fact is, it's not taking obvious picks, reaching on players in, honestly, positions we didn't really need. Like, Jahmyr Gibbs is a luxury pick. And I'm not saying that he can't be a great football player, but he's already a bust. And that's not his fault at all. It's Brad Holmes' fault. The fact is, when we took Jahmyr Gibbs, we said he needed to be so unbelievably good that he could make up for the weaknesses on this roster, for the defensive tackle weakness, for the cornerback weakness, for the fact that our defense ranked 32nd in the NFL. And look at what's happened. And I mean, he could be great. I think he is going to be great. But there's a reason running backs aren't getting paid right now. Running back is a very replaceable position and one you shouldn't take at 12, much less when you have other weaknesses on the roster. And you have DeAndre Swift too. You have Montgomery. It's clear to me, you know what this was? Brad Holmes is refusing to eat his losses. Levi Onwuzurike is a lost cause. Josh Paschal might as well be a lost cause. You reached on a couple guys that you were hoping could overcome their injury history, and they haven't. It's that simple. And Isaiah Buggs hasn't played a snap yet. You re-signed him. Like, whoever's scouting defensive tackles, we might need to find somebody new. But it's just the lack of common sense is what's frustrating. So let's just be real about something. We know that this team on the interior isn't going to generate a pass rush. The data supports that. And that's going to hurt this team for the rest of the year. And we already know that our linebackers still struggle with coverage. It's really frustrating. So really, we didn't get any better. We stayed the exact same. And now with injuries, I wouldn't be surprised. We're going to go 9-8 again. Yeah, we'll win the division. Guys, the goal wasn't to win the division. The goal was to build a championship contender because we had 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and a team that was 9-8 last year. Your goal is to build from there. Your goal isn't to replace guys and, just hope we can get by with the guys we have. No. You need to make bold moves. You need to draft Jalen Carter. You need to go after Aaron Donald. You need to go after guys in free agency. It's just the lack of aggressiveness plus the lack of common sense. And Brad being arrogant saying, these guys I drafted in the second and third round are going to do everything. No, guess what? They're duds. They stink. Best thing we can do next offseason, cut our losses and revamp this defensive line because it's terrible outside of a couple players. That's it. Oh, yeah, and let's go ahead and re-sign Charles Harris and Romeo Okwara to do absolutely nothing. Like, we're in trouble. That's what's frustrating is we're going to be okay, I think. But we had a chance to build a championship roster and we blew it. And how many times are the Lions going to blow it before we can accept this? Because, guys, we're not going to get the 6th pick again. If we're as good as we think we are, we're not going to be able to get an opportunity to get that kind of player without giving up some significant assets. So, yeah, you know what? You blew this offseason. You blew this draft, and it's hard for me to get over. Just because it was so common sense. It's got Ebron over Donald type vibes for me. So, we're weak at defensive tackle. It's going to be that way the rest of the year. It's really frustrating. It doesn't mean Brad Holmes can't eventually overcome it. Some of the best GMs in NFL history have had their bad moments. Howie Roseman was a clown years ago. Now he's the best GM in the league. And Brad could be very well the same way. But I'd honestly just like to see us, after this season, admit that we made a mistake there and move forward. Fact is, we're going to be outscoring our problems again this year, and that's just not sustainable football. It's really frustrating, and it's another missed opportunity by this organization. Oh well. Y'all have a good rest of your night. Go Lions, and take care.